Okay, I see we have Cody, Deb, Jill, Kathy, Marlo, Sherry. Um, so we're going to go ahead and get started. So we're on time. And anyway, I'm going to introduce Kathy. Okay, you guys know me, Martha Woodward, Quality Driven. And some of you know Kathy Gage and some of you do not. Kathy and George Gage used to own Marvelous Maids in St. Louis. And, oh my gosh, hold on, I have a whining dog. Hold on, I have her locked in. Let me let her out.
Oh, I'm Kathy.
This is George.
And so we started the business in 2000, started a cleaning company here in St. Louis. And I had come from big corporations. I worked for Anheuser-Busch for 10 years. I'm an accountant. And I started the company without even having an employee handbook, if you can imagine. And I really knew nothing about culture. In fact, the first time I heard Liz Trotter speak about culture, and I've told her this, I walked away and said, culture smulcher, who cares? I was just more comfortable with numbers and spreadsheets, even though I deeply cared about the staff.
This is George. My early career, I worked always in factories. Factories could care less. They want you to punch the clock, do your job, punch your clock and go home and come back the next day and do it again. But I had an earlier dream of getting a formal education, and I went back to school, and then I worked in I had a master's degree in education, and I worked in special ed for several years. But then I joined Marvelous Maids in 2012.
So a friend gave me the book, The Dream Manager by Matthew Kelly. If you haven't read it, it's a great book. It's a fictionalized version of what happened in a commercial cleaning company in Cincinnati that decided to help their employees reach their dreams. And I started to realize that we had a culture, whether we knew it or not, and our culture needed change. We had about 30 employees at that time, and we decided the answer was core values. And one of our core values, and I think core values are good, was to encourage each other to reach for the stars, which was kind of the beginning of dreaming for us. And about that time, I went to the Dream Manager training that Martha mentioned in Chicago. It was pretty affordable at the time. Now it's incredibly expensive. In my mind, it costs $3,000 or $4,000 today. And I came home from that all excited about starting a dreaming program for our staff. Well, I always have about 5 projects going, and I went to my staff, and they had a lot of say in our business, and we let them vote on which one of those projects they wanted to do and which one got the least number of votes. It was to do a dreaming program. They just didn't see the value. And I realize now why, but at the time we put it on the back burner, and we really didn't do anything until a year ago. So in January 2015, I had 45 employees, and I was standing behind my office manager while she was learning how to use View My Paycheck, because she was going to train all of our other staff how to go in and look at their paycheck. And the security question came up, what country would you love to go to? And that was the security question that came up first for her to answer. And she clicked off of it immediately and said, country? I don't want to go to any country. And it just really hit me. I realized that I was all about achieving my dreams with the business, but how powerful would it be if we and to achieve their dreams? Because at that point I realized that a lot of them had given up on dreaming. So there was a local country club that offered a program called Joy of Goals, and it was January in 2015, and I told them, look, it's on a Saturday. If you'll go, I'll pay for it. I have lunch, I'll pay for the workbooks. I really want you to go. We had 45 employees and about 4 signed up. So I had the head of the program come and talk to them about it. And we eventually got 15 of our 45 employees to go. And I sat there that day at Joy of Goals, and I thought I knew my employees really well, and I thought I knew their situations really well, but I was pretty shocked. A lot of them got up and spoke. And talked about their housing situations. And then one employee, Jessica, told about quitting high school to raise her brother because her mother had been incarcerated and she was so embarrassed that she hadn't finished high school. And then Jeanette talked about wanting to write a sci-fi book, which I had no idea. And I really sat there shocked by what they were saying and kind of terrified. I was terrified that if I did this, if we did this goal program, and I was already into it, so I had to, right? But I was afraid that everybody would leave our company. So I thought I was maybe destroying Marvelous Maids and setting us up to have all of our staff leave. But I had to let go of that terror that day because of the powerful things I saw happening. Well, we went through that program, and the following Monday, the staff that attended were so excited that it was contagious, and we decided to provide training for everyone. So we started writing a training program for our company, and that initial training we call Dream Day, and we were trying to get it down to like a 90-minute thing to make it easier for maid services to do it with their staff versus an all-day thing. And then George put up what we now call the dream board on the wall, and we made these really cute clouds, and our staff each took a cloud and wrote their goals, and then we took a picture and celebrated the goals that we set that day. And here's what was on that board. It was very moving to read it. Dawn wanted to marry Justin, who she'd been living with for 10 years. She really wanted to get married, and he was adamantly opposed. Stephanie wanted to buy a home. She had lost a previous home. She really wanted to buy a home again instead of them renting. Tabitha wanted to buy her grandparents' land and use it for youth ministry. In fact, she wanted to become a youth minister. Jason and many other employees wanted to quit smoking. Ashley B. wanted to get her GED. And we have several Amy's. One Amy wanted to meet Luke Bryan, the country music star, and I thought that was unlikely. And another Amy, we learned she had lost her sister to melanoma, and she wanted to help fight melanoma. And people wanted to move up at Marvelous Maids. They wanted to find better housing. A lot of our staff suffered with panic and anxiety, and they wanted better relationships with their significant others. So those were the things that we saw on that board.
So what happens after the Dream Day? In short, monthly staff meetings, we found free speakers, employees, and ourselves to help educate our staff on how to reach their dreams. Some examples would be we brought in a mortgage broker to talk about how to raise your credit scores, down payments, incentives that some counties have for first-time home buyers. We brought in a relationship counselor. We brought in a counselor to discuss panic and anxiety. We researched how to get your GED. In the county we live in, the community college gives free classes on how to study for your GED. We taught our staff how to help other staff members on how to budget. And there were many more things that we did.
And these meetings were free. All the speakers came for free, and they lasted about 15 minutes. So what happened after we did this with our staff and had them write our dreams? Well, now it's a year later, and I want you to know Stephanie owns her own home. Amy led the group on a melanoma fundraiser walk. Ashley B. not only got her GED, but she started community college. Tabitha bought her grandparents' farm and is volunteering with the youth. Jeanette's pretty much done with her sci-fi book, and she just bought land to build a home in the future. Amy H. became a Marvelous Maid trainer. A ton of our staff who all smoked have quit smoking. Dawn and Justin, and I believe it was because of the relationship counselor that came in, got married probably a month after that counselor was there. And Amy, well, she met Luke Bryan and got her picture taken with him. So besides those benefits, and it's so exciting to see what's happening in the lives of our staff. Even they're still telling us things, even though we're now gone because we sold the business. But in those 6 months that we owned the business after we did this, we didn't have recruitment issues anymore. Our staff were recruiting for us. They were finding Facebook groups and putting advertisements for us. They were recruiting their friends and their family. Our turnover dropped. It was different than the terror I had thinking they'd all leave. They all stayed because it was a safe place to work on their goals. I think our drama was reduced. You know, we all kind of have drama. but the focus was on helping each other reach our dreams. And our culture improved because the staff were happier and more engaged. And honestly, I was much happier seeing them develop and grow and reach their goals.
We were so excited about what was happening in our company that we wrote a simple 3-step process called Dare to Dream, where you name your 100 goals, pick the top 3, and then you list out how to achieve them. Our program, Dare to Dream, is geared to maid services, because we're a maid service, and we'll take everyone through the goal-setting program at the Quality Driven Conference. We wrote both the leader and the participant guide for the Dream Day, so you can help your staff choose their top goals.
At the Quality Driven Conference, we're going to share a lot of things. We're going to go through, as George said, the Dream Day goal setting program. We're going to talk about all the ideas we have for these 15-minute staff meetings once a month to keep people's dreams alive. We developed something we call dream huddles. We developed dreaming guidelines and philosophy, like we want this dream to be our staff's dream and for them to be in charge of reaching it. And we want to support them in doing it without enabling. And then we want to onboard new staff into the dream culture. I mean, they're introduced to it when they walk in the door for an interview. And then we encourage staff when they're ready to give up, not to give up on their dreams. And our goal is also to keep the cost really affordable. So we're going to be selling workbooks at the seminar. There's a participant guide and our leaders workbook. And I want to tell you how it changes lives. So we're retired now. We're in Orange Beach, Alabama, on the beach, and we got a thank you card in the mail this week from Sarah, and it says, "Kathy, I really want to thank you for the time spent as my boss. Now I want you to know, you may think I'm a nice person if you know me, but I'm not the greatest boss in the world. No." I'm really not the greatest boss. I really frustrate people. But here's what she said. "Thank you for the time spent as my boss. Starting the dream board really helped me see the potential in myself, and I was confident enough to go back to school and achieve my dream of becoming a dental assistant. As of February 13th, so that was this past Monday, I will start my new job as a dental assistant, and I have you to thank. So thank you for taking a role in helping me achieve my dreams. With much love, Sarah." Well, we think Sarah would have left our company earlier. We actually think she would have left sooner, maybe quit her job and gone to school full time. But she ended up staying another year and recruited her sister to work for us, and her sister works there today. So it just really changes the dynamic of your company to do this. And our dream was to retire early and travel. So that's kind of our story.
I know, as close as you can see the years without being dead in front. Yeah. Payback!
I'm muting then, Kathy. Okay. Just a second. Okay. Kathy?
Yes.
Okay. I muted everybody so we could get rid of that background noise, but then had to find you to unmute you.
Okay. So I just wanted to see if anybody had any quick questions. Of course, most of this we're going to go into in Tulsa.
Before people get started asking questions, I want to say a couple things. You mentioned that you were terrified, and I know why you were terrified, but I don't think you really explained, because I remember you saying that you were terrified everybody was going to leave you.
Right.
You felt they were going to leave you because they start setting these goals that they want to do something besides cleaning houses. And, you know, that's why I remember you were terrified. But if you could expound on that a little bit, as far as not only did they not leave you right away, but I'm sure they brought people in, like you just used that example of Sarah.
Right. So I was at that Joy of Goals seminar with my staff, and I sat there and thought, what have I done? I'm teaching them how to set goals for themselves, and they're all going to decide to go somewhere else. Well, some of them set goals to move up in the company, which made me happy. But they were so excited about what we were doing. They were like, who does this? You know, who helps their employees reach their goals, that they stay? And they recruited people. I mentioned they recruited people on Facebook for us, and they even helped with interviewing on some of the times. And they'd show them that dream board when they got there for their interview. So they really helped us get people. And many of their siblings worked for us and do work for us. Were you going to add something, George? Okay.
Yeah, and then you also mentioned something about it being geared towards maid services, but honestly, I just can't imagine a business, especially a business that is employing non-professional staff, that this would not benefit, because like you said, I think our staff are so used to just shutting down dreams, thinking they can't do it. They don't think like we think, and that because somewhere along the line they've been shut down. And you know, as you can tell, I love this program. I think it's awesome. I'm so excited. Now,
well, you know, if you think about, you know, we've all studied probably at some point the Maslow hierarchy of needs.
right.
And our staff are down in food and shelter. They're just trying to get by and provide food and someplace to live for their family. And they're not necessarily happy with their living conditions. Their life may not be stable as far as a significant other. And to dream in the middle of that, it's just not on their radar. But once you get it on their radar, it gets exciting.
Right. Now, Kathy, just so this isn't a pitch just for convention or anything like that, if they're not coming to the conference and they are interested in your workbooks, like they don't want to start from scratch,
right?
This is not to sell for anybody on the seminar. But if you're like me, I just don't want to reinvent the wheel. And if there is, if there is a way to purchase this, then if you could kind of tell us what that process would be like and so forth.
We're going to sell it first at the at your conference, and then after that we will make it available to buy. We're not sure if we're going to do, we haven't hammered out all those details yet. I know we need to. We're not sure if we're doing ebooks. I don't think ebooks in this situation make sense. I think you want a workbook and a leader's guide. So we'll probably print them and ship them. And we'll make them as affordable as possible. Our dream is not to make any money from this program. As Martha knows, our dream is to see people implement it because we found it to be so rewarding.
Yeah. For you all that don't know Kathy and George, they're good people. They're this is, part of the ministry that is so important to them.
It is. It's not about money.
Yeah. But you have to cover your costs. You want to stay retired, so.
That's right. You want to be able to keep this up.
That's right. Cody asked if he can get a recording of this, and yes, I did record it. I did remember, so I will be uploading that recording, and I'll send it to everyone that registered, and I'll also share it in the Quality Driven group. Anybody else? Any questions? Any besides starting, I would think you would need to read the Dream Manager book. And then if they wanted to start something like this, they probably, I can see that if you don't know what you're doing, you could start it with the best of intentions, but it fail because you don't know how to carry it through. You don't know how to have a successful kickstart. All of that. Is that true, Kathy?
Yeah, I think any program, not just this program, if you start it and then don't carry it through, then it just doesn't necessarily succeed. And so it was our goal, just the fourth Wednesday, our staff meetings were on Wednesday, and the fourth Wednesday of every month, we had a 15-minute meeting. And if we didn't have a speaker, then we did something called dream huddles, where we would divide our staff up into groups, and they would share their dreams with the people in their group, and they'd hear the dreams of new people, new employees. It was really a bonding experience. They loved those dream huddles, and they would encourage each other. Or we would just talk about who had achieved dreams would talk and say what dream they'd achieved, and we'd all celebrate. So you want to keep it going, but I think it's easy to keep going.
Yeah. So, lots of people set goals, but most people don't reach the goals. And it seems like you had a huge percentage of the people that set goals actually reach those goals. So what would you say is that one most important thing that this program did to help people actually achieve the goal?
I think there's something magical about sharing dreams. So having them on the board and having them share with each other on a regular basis, they would then pitch in and help each other. So say your dream was to ride a horse, and you put that on the dream board, and Mary's aunt has horses, and she comes over and says, hey, my aunt has horses, come out and ride. People get excited about helping each other reach these dreams. And so bringing speakers then that would help them, or having them help each other. I just think there's something about writing it down and sharing it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so it sounds like just sharing and going through the process with other people who are trying to achieve their dreams, that I guess it's kind of like Weight Watchers, in that you go, you're a group, you're trying to help each other achieve that dream as losing weight. I'm simplifying it, but just the camaraderie and the support from others, it sounds like.
Yeah, I think the Weight Watcher example is a very good example.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm very excited to get started. In fact, sooner the better. So
Good.
Just going to let me know when those things are ready.
Okay, will do.
I can be one of your first projects.
That would be exciting.
So, well, thank you, George and Kathy. Any last call for, I see Jill asked, did you have anyone reluctant to share?
Yes, and we did not force them to write their goals on a cloud. And some of them did not write them down. And I went to one person, Angie, and asked her why. And she just felt like her dreams were too private, but it didn't mean that she wasn't working on them. And she did achieve some of them, even though she didn't share them. Now, she may have shared them in a dream huddle, I don't know, but she didn't share them on the board. And we didn't think it was, we just treated it like that was fine, because, I don't want to force people to do this. I think then it loses its power.
We've had other people that actually wouldn't do it at first, but then later on put a cloud up with their dreams on it after they got comfortable with everybody else.
And then you'd see them mark their cloud that they'd achieved it. They checked them off or wrote notes by their goals.
That's awesome. Okay. Anybody else? Oh, here's one. Do you think this would work with a dream manager not being on staff? Someone outside the company who comes in and works with the staff monthly?
And that's what the people that the book's written about, the dream manager, that's what they did. I don't know if they started out with somebody on staff. I actually called Mary, the owner of that company, because the book is fictionalized. And I learned that it's, you know, some of the things in the book, you know, they took some liberty with. Like Mary didn't really spend any money on people's dreams. So when you read the book, if you read it before the conference, she did not provide down payments and those kind of things. That was something the author of the book added. So I forgot the question, Martha.
Oh, okay. Do you think it would work with basically somebody from the
Oh.
outside being the dream manager?
Yeah, and we decided not to have a dream manager, but I think it's a great idea. And I actually think somebody from outside the company coming in is a great idea. Mary suggested that people, like if there's another company near you, say a pest control company or a lawn service, and they want to do the program, that somebody from your company could work with them and somebody from their company could work with you and you could barter. But yeah, I think it works great. We just chose not to have a dream manager. We were all each other's dream manager.
Yeah. Okay. Anybody else? All right. Well, thank you guys. And
Okay.
I'm sure there'll probably be more questions that come up later, and many know how to reach you, Kathy, but if they message me, then I'll get that to you.
Sure.
So
Okay.
anyway, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we're excited for April when we, you know, I've heard we're going to do our own experiment, and I'm not going to divulge too much, but anyway, I think it'll be very powerful, and we'll learn more about how to implement it in our company. So that's awesome.
It'll be fun. We're looking forward to it.
Yep. Okay. All right. Thanks so much, everybody.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.